Hello everyone, and thank you for joining Happiness and Wealth Media. My name is Charlie. When I was 18, I moved to the United States from Ukraine with nothing. Right now, 10 years later, I'm one of the happiest small business owners on planet Earth. On this channel, I share what I learned from my personal experience building multiple businesses from scratch and being happy no matter what. Alright, in this video we'll talk about surviving the current economic crisis of 2020 and possibly even profiting from a market crash. First of all, as a disclaimer, although I do life coaching and business consulting, I'm not a certified financial advisor. So everything I'm going to share in this video is just my personal opinion for informational purposes only. Anything you decide to do with your own money is at your own risk and it's your own responsibility. Alright, so how do we get through this difficult time that we are facing now, and how do we make a profit from it? I'm going to offer a pretty conservative approach, which I think can be a great long-term strategy that can be useful for the entire life, not just the current crisis. First and foremost, it's extremely important to always keep track of all income and expenses. You should know how you spend every single dollar. This is the main foundation of long-term wealth. If you don't know how much you're spending on what, you're likely to run out of cash sooner or later, even if you are a millionaire at this moment. So, do yourself a favor, get organized and make it a lifelong habit to write down every single transaction that takes place in your life. In my case, I prefer to use my own template and update it whenever I purchase something or receive payments. You can download this template for free. The link is right in the description below. At the end of every month, I calculate my total monthly income and expenses from different sources. This process allows me to see how much I spend in different categories and how much I earn from my businesses, projects, investments, refunds, and other sources. Basically, I see every single dollar that comes in and comes out and what adjustments need to be made. Then, I subtract the expenses from my income, which allows me to see the amount of money I saved any particular months. And then every 6 months I do a summary, which allows me to see my average monthly income, expenses, and savings, so I can see my financial situation clearly and adjust my priorities accordingly. Basically, this way I know exactly what I can and cannot afford and how to find balance while living comfortably and being prepared for an economic downturn or any other life crisis at any time by having sufficient savings. It's not difficult at all. Have another look at this very simple template and imagine what it can do for you in the long term. I made it when I was a poor, unemployed 18-year-old immigrant who just landed in the United States in 2010. I had no family or friends here, no job, no connections, and it was in the middle of another crisis. I had only $400 in my pocket, and so I had no choice but to keep track of every single cent if I wanted to survive, and so I did, and I kept using this template for the past 10 years. Right now, even though many of my small businesses are extremely slow due to the pandemic and I have lost a large portion of my income, I have enough savings to continue living comfortably for years while keeping my businesses open. So please take this seriously and start keeping track of every single time you go to Starbucks, buy a 12-pack, get new sneakers, or pay a parking fee. With the right mindset, this template allows you not only to keep track of everything, but to also motivate and encourage yourself to spend less and save more. I'm not saying you have to completely stop buying things that make you happy. Happiness is what our life should be about. What I'm suggesting is being financially accountable and responsible so you can achieve all your dreams and take care of yourself in the long term. For example, if you buy yourself a $5 cup of coffee at a coffee shop 3 to 4 times a week, this ends up being almost $1,000 a year. You can make your own great quality coffee at home for less than 10% of that amount. If you eat restaurant food every day and spend $20 per meal including tax and tip, this ends up being $7,300 per year. You can prepare healthy and delicious meals at home for less than a quarter of that amount. And keep in mind that we are talking about just one single daily meal out of the 3 meals that most people have in a day. I'm not saying you have to stay home all the time and eat the same food every day. I eat outside every once in a while, especially if I'm meeting up with friends, but it's not my daily habit, which allows me to save thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars every year. And all I mentioned so far was Starbucks and food. There are many other spending categories where relatively harmless but significant adjustments can be made. For example, unnecessary subscriptions and memberships. I used to pay $50 a month for a YMCA gym membership. Right now, I'm paying $10 a month for a Planet Fitness gym membership. And believe it or not, the Planet Fitness location that's close to where I live is bigger, cleaner, and less crowded than the YMCA that I used to go to. And this $40 a month difference that we are talking about ends up being $480 in a year, or $4,800 in 10 years. All because I did a tiny little bit of research and realized that there is a cheaper and better gym available close to where I live. This also applies to car insurance and all other services and products that you buy. Make sure to spend a little bit of time shopping around before you make a purchase. You can literally become rich and be able to afford almost anything you want if you follow these simple strategies. And now let's talk about profiting from the stock market crash. First of all, you need to understand that investing in the stock market is no different from gambling. You might win and you might lose, and no one can know the outcome for sure, especially when the government is heavily manipulating the market as it's happening now. Do you want to do that with your hard-earned money? If that's the case, I wish you luck. As for me, during unstable times like these, I would rather get out of the market to minimize risks, which I have done with my own money. Not losing money is my own way of profiting from the market crash. If I see a significant drop of 30 to 50%, then I'll consider buying back in, but otherwise, I'd rather wait for a few months or even a couple of years until things stabilize, or until we are faced with a serious risk of high inflation, which is not the case yet. If you prefer an alternative strategy, there is one. It's the good old strategy of buying into the market consistently and holding on to your investments for a long time. That way you average out your risk and come out with significant gains as long as you stay invested for the long term and don't do panic selling. This strategy assumes you do not invest any funds that you may need access to in the near future. For example, if you plan on buying a house in the next year or two or even 3, I think it's best to keep that payment in an FDIC insured high-yield savings account. This also applies to your emergency fund, the funds you need for your business, and any other cash you might need to be able to access in the short term. You don't want to suddenly realize you lost a third of your home down payment in your portfolio, because then you'll have to wait for years for it to recover, unless of course you're okay with that money being simply wiped out. Of course, all of us have our own personal circumstances which make each individual situation different. I know a lot of people have been following the same strategies as I have, and if you are one of them, I hope this video has given you some peace of mind and motivation to keep going. Let me know in the comment section below. Or, if you've been doing something different, I hope you've been able to discover some new ideas that could inspire you to reconsider or improve your well-being strategies for the long term. If that is the case, please smash the like button and leave a comment below. It'll inspire me to make more videos. For those of you who need more personal attention, please feel free to email me at happinessinvestmedia@gmail.com. I do life coaching and business consulting, and it would be my pleasure to help. Thank you everyone for watching this video, and I wish you happiness and wealth.